so overexcited. That does happen to me quite a bit, but I'm even more excited than normal because I'm here with Adi Porat, and we're going to have an international discussion. This is the first, hopefully, of many, and I'm so delighted to see you all here. And so we've got an amazing Davari. He's going to help us. He's going to facilitate because he's a tech genius, so he's going to help us. And Adi and I met through LinkedIn. We had a virtual coffee and now all this has happened. So it's so exciting. So what I'd just like to say is the topic of this is why it's just really, really important for you to be truly who you are. So if everyone could just... Not connect? Yes, fantastic. Okay. Okay, so if everyone could just go on mute, that'd be great. Excellent. Okay, so why it's really, really important now more than ever that we're just truly who we are is because each and every one of us is absolutely unique. It's been said that we have 1 in 4 trillion chance of even being born. And so each one of us is like a diamond in the rough, just waiting for expression. And we're here today to help you shine and to give you inspiration. So I was an actress and now I'm a speech coach, and Adi will tell you a bit more about himself, but he was like this high-powered, phenomenal lawyer. And now he has become the decision navigator who's helping people make incredible decisions. So we're really excited. We've been overexcited about being here. And so now I'll hand it over to Adi.
Oh yes, Dale, you don't want to talk about yourself a little bit more? I wanted to hear about the actress.
Oh, okay. Well,
or later.
All right.
Or later.
Okay, a little bit. So I was a London-trained actress, and then I was an actress of about 20 years, and I played an assassin in Mission Impossible, the series, and transsexual in Colin Carpenter, as you do, and police people and all sorts of things. And then I've brought all of that into helping people become phenomenal communicators because I just really want to help everyone shine and be who they are and have that come to the fore.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Thank you, Dale. I wanted to hear that, and first of all, I want to thank Nosh for helping us, and second of all, I want to tell that I'm very excited about speaking with, of course, with all my guys from my community in LinkedIn, but with Aussie, with Australian people. My father was a solo first violinist of the IPO, the Israeli Philharmonic Orchestra, and he went to Australia for many times, and he told about this beautiful place and the beautiful people who are open, heartedly, and brave, like us Israelis. So I'm very excited to speak with you all. I'll talk about myself. I'm a lawyer. I'm a lawyer, not practicing it for many years. I was very good at what I was doing, a superstar. I got a partnership offer in the top 5 Israeli law firm, but I rejected it. I was super talented at what I did, but my soul, my true self was dead. So I went on in 2009 on a journey. I met some teachers. I studied for 8.5 years. And today I am a teacher myself and a master decision-making instructor, 1 of 5 in the whole wide world. So today we are going to talk about several topics. We will start with the topic of what is happening today in the world in the recent months, and especially in Corona. I understand in Melbourne, you're in quarantine today. We were in quarantine for 2 months in Israel, and now we are out with restrictions. So we're talking about what is happening in the new world and what are our opportunities. Then we talk about how we can become happy. That will be the second topic. The third topic will be being who we really are is a choice in the process. We will continue with trying to understand who is our enemy, who is the enemy, preventing us from being who we really are. And we'll conclude with how does it feel to live your life as true self. I will start the first topic, Dale. by talking about what is happening today in the world. And I will give a short intro saying that this whole discussion is about being who we really are, our true self. But if we are not our true self, who are we? So we can talk about the masks, the role we play, etc. But in this discussion, I will talk about it as the false self or the other self. So if we're not who we really are at the moment, for example, I am who I really am at this moment, it may vary throughout the day, then I'm the false self. So just so to have a context and you'll understand what we're talking about. So what is happening today in the world, a new world? First of all, I will start there. I thought that the main change was that the comfort zone, which is the domain of the other self, of the false self, is dead. There is no more comfort zone. We need to start moving. And what is the world moving toward? I thought that it is very clear that today the world is moving toward the market of real value. People who have real value will succeed, and real value is connected with our true self. When we are in a true self, we are unique, and we have our own value, whatever that value is. We can be a rope maker in Rome, as Rilke, the poet, described in his poems, or we can be a top lawyer or a decisions navigator. Whatever your real value is, which is connected with your true self, will be your advantage, because the market is going to barter. That was my second choice. I also thought that today, basically after we have been quarantined with our families and we have had the time to reflect on our lives, basically there is a global shift in needs of the people. We want deeper things from our lives. We want connection, we want emotionality. We don't want all the facade and the things that were okay before the Corona crisis. I wonder what you think about that in your experience. And finally, I thought that the most wonderful things is that 3 months ago, I started going to the global market with my services. Naturally, I have clients all over the world, and here we are. And I'm talking to the Australian people and other people from other places in the world, and there are no borders. In some niches, we can do whatever we want. We can talk with whomever we want and network. And basically, I think that because, and my last point is that because we are all disappointed from our governments, I mean, no politics here, of course, but I think this is globally what's happening. There is a movement toward the camaraderie, toward global camaraderie. We are all camaraderie. Dale, I hope it was not too many points, but.
That was wonderful. And look, I think it's so true. And I'm seeing it, firstly, on the global aspect. I think that as we are disconnected from people around us, we yearn for that connection. And human beings are like really, I think it's just such a beautiful thing of who we all really are, that we're just hungry to have that connection and the ability to be able to communicate with people all over the world. I've never actually done any Zoom ever before in my life, and now with you and Nosh and in Singapore and America, all across the world. So I think that this is an amazing opportunity. It just really shows that people are hungry for that connection. And I think people are also hungry, which I find incredibly exciting as well, for this reality. That right. People are wanting to see who you are. And you know, we're seeing people's cats wander through. We're seeing, you know, people's spouses wandering through. We're seeing people's houses. And someone said to me the other day that the reason why people have dropped the professional facade is because people are too exhausted to keep it there. And I just think that that is great, because wonderful. Yeah, so in this exhaustion, we are finding that those facades are coming down, the professional being very authoritative and very, you know, calm and all those sort of things are just not interesting anymore. It's really, wow. it's boring, quite frankly, and it probably always has been boring, but we all thought we had to do it. And now it's just like your personality coming out, and everyone, and you're just seeing how unique everyone is, and people's different interests, but people's just when they speak, people's different personalities coming out. And also I think that we've lost trust with what we know and what we don't know. We've lost trust with companies, we've lost trust with products, but we've gained trust with people, that when we actually have a virtual coffee, or when we connect with people, we can, that's what we trust. And these sort of trusting relationships, and also alignment. I think that, you know, like Adi, when we had that coffee, you know, we just suddenly realized that our values and what we're trying to achieve and everything was so aligned. And I think that people doing more business with people who their values are aligned and their beliefs are aligned is just going to be fantastic, because I think that's where a lot of the conflict comes, is when people don't have the same values or don't have the same vision. And so I think that it's just an absolutely incredible time, and I think the opportunities are just endless, really.
So basically, what you're saying, that since the facade is gone, since it's not cool to have a facade, then we have the opportunity to bring ourselves, and then the real selves can truly connect, and this is naturally a trust-based connection. And this is somehow because of what's happening in the world today, that we lost control. From one point of view, we lost control over our lives because someone in the UN decides it's a pandemic, and then everything changes, and perhaps what we have ideas or opinions. So, and now we can trust only each other. Yes. As camaraderie. Yes, absolutely. That's interesting. Yes. That's interesting. Yeah, for sure. So that's what I think is the opportunity, and to create smaller groups, because I think human beings work better in smaller groups, smaller homogenous groups, that they have the same, they can have wonderfully different nationalities, and, you know, different genders, different nationalities, different cultures, but all with the same value, coming together to do the same thing. That creates great teamwork, and people coming together because they want to, because they believe in the same things. That's incredibly powerful, I think. That's nice. So how do you think that we can become more happy? How do we become more happy? Well, I think we can smile more. Yes. Yeah, I mean, the social scientists have found that even if you like put a pen in between your teeth, like a fake smile actually makes you happier. Yes, I've seen the famous marathon runner, Haile Gebrselassie or something like that, and he was suffering, but he was smiling all the time, and he explained that exactly what you said, that is his tactic to maintain his high energy and continue. Wow, that's, yes. There you go, champion athlete. Yes, yes. Yeah, so I think there's that. Apparently we have, scientists have done research to say that we've actually got, everyone has a level of happiness that is kind of their resting point. And they've said that if something great happens or something terrible happens, after a year, you'll be back to the same level of happiness. So it's something that is really worthwhile to put thought at. When you can't, not just, that just, talk positive, think positive. I mean, that's just not enough. I mean, it takes a lot, but to be aware of where your level of happiness is and actually grow it is really, really worthwhile. Wow, to grow it, like this is an intentional effort, and perhaps an effort you need to know how to do it correctly. It's not something like, yes, I am positive, everything is fine, and honey, and then you go and shoot all those people around, like Serenity now from Seinfeld. It doesn't work. This is very important. Yes. So would you like to talk more on that now, Adi? Yes. First of all, I'm talking to you, but other people are listening. First of all, the main question is, why should I be happy? Why do you want to be happy? And this is a question we all need to answer for ourselves, because we'll talk about it more when we discuss the enemy within. But some parts of us don't want to be happy, but our true self wants to be happy, because true self is happiness. We are all happiness. We are nothing but happiness within. And for me, that is very important, because basically happiness is a spontaneous act. And when we nurture it, strengthen it, what we do is enable the water of life. Happiness is the water of life. We enable the water of life to go outside and to the world and express itself like a rainbow, if you wish. So it's very important on a practical level to try and find the proper guidance to your true self, because when you are your true self, by definition, you have a better chance to become happy. Of course, true self suffers necessary suffering. You know, somebody dies in your family, something happens, you're getting fired. This is real happiness, real suffering. Yep. But on the long run, conscious player is always thinking on the long run. The aim, you become happy. Like today, I am happy. 99% of the day, I am happy. Not happy like happy, blah, blah, but yes, I did it.
Yes. Also, there was a Japanese scientist called Masaru Emoto. And what he did was he found out that through magnetic imaging, and some sort of fast technological photography, what he did was he photographed water, and he photographed water in a tap water in a little bottle. And yes. It didn't form crystals. It was just, they photographed it and it would just look ugly and unformed. And then he would write on the bottle, love and gratitude. And suddenly—
Just the words.
Pardon?
Just the words.
Just the words in Japanese, love and gratitude. And then he photographed the water, and the crystals made the most glorious, symmetrical, fantastic little crystals that look like snowflakes. They were so beautiful, and he did all these different words, and love and gratitude and peace and Christmas and all these different things. And when he did words which were like envy or disgust or something like that, the water just looked horrible and unformed. But all these words, so these words change water, and but also prayer from, actually I think it's from Israel, all the way over to Japan. They just prayed about this water and the crystals formed. So, I mean, the oceans are full of water. We're full of water. There's water everywhere. So our words really matter. And so to use really loving and kind and positive words makes a huge difference on your own happiness as well.
Wonderful, wonderful. So if I want to conclude this part, I wanted to add two things. First of all, that if we are true to ourselves, by definition, we become more happy. So just from being true to ourselves, to our inner self, provides happiness. This is a practical tool. Another practical tool is every morning and every night, first thing in the morning, first thing in the night, last thing before I fall asleep, I tell myself 3 times, I am happiness, 3 times. First thing in the morning, last thing in the night. And you, Dale, and of course all the audience, do it for 1 month and let us know what happened. Miracles will happen for sure. So now I suggest we can move to the last, to the third part. I don't know how we are with the time. I think we're okay.
Yep.
So I think this is something that I'm really interested in hearing your opinion, because some things that you said about the fact that being who we are is a choice and in the process, but you talked about an intentional process, and I will start by saying that first of all, as you said in the beginning, we are all unique. In the real self, in the true self, we are all unique. In the false self, in the other self, we are all boring and gray and plastic, like plastic flowers, not interesting. But in the real self, each and every one of you, and Dale, of course, you're unique. Everybody can see that. We are unique, and decisions made from that point within, from that place within, conscious decisions, pursuant to conscious decision-making rules, but from that place within, translate in a unique life. So basically, we make a decision after decision, a moment-to-moment battle. We have many more. We have more than 10,000 decisions per day, some of which we are not aware, some of which a decision not to decide is also a decision. This is like a total, a whole lecture by itself. But basically, the conscious way of life, or the life of the true self, is the battle, moment-to-moment battle, to express through your decisions or communications and everything, your true self, and build block by block the house. And that means two things. First of all, it means that at any given moment, we have two choices, or we have a crossroad, decision-making crossroad in any decision, in any given moment. One, to choose the way of the true self, if we are aware of it, and if we ask the right question and we are connected with ourselves. Wow, this is so difficult, but this is the best investment you will do in your life. Everybody else, they know that she is living from her inner self. So at any given moment, you choose either the true self opinion and way, or the other self opinion and way. And the second thing I wanted to talk about in relation to this point is that usually to choose your inner voice, the voice of your true self, is the hard thing to do. The easiest thing is to go with the false self, with what is expected, etc., what we are used to, without consciousness most of the time. So basically, it is a choice, because your awareness, if you are present, of course, if you are not present, this discussion is not relevant at all, because we are just operating. But if we're present in the moment, like we all are, then we can realize that we have, at any given crossroad, we have two options, either the true self option or the false self option. And it requires efforts to constantly choose the right, like in Al Pacino from The Scent of a Woman, it's hard to choose the right choice every time. But for the long run, this is the best investment, as I've realized in you too, right?
Yes, absolutely. That is so true. So interesting. And yeah, I'm kind of thinking that why we're all here is because we just want something more. We want more out of our lives. And so that it's that curiosity of always finding new and different ways to do it, and to how to uncover this unique being that we are. I think there's intentionality in our decision making. And I think there's intentionality in our communication. So we can be aware of how we use our body, to create resilience and be strong in our body, and not and have our body language work for us, not against us, to be able to communicate more clearly and look sometimes strongly, sometimes empathetically, all different ways. Your body language can help to communicate for you and to give you resilience. Your voice, you can use your voice in different ways. You can use different energies, and just be constantly learning new ways that you can express yourself. And also, I think that it's really about taking chances, like doing videos or doing what we're doing now. But, just stepping up, going, oh, I could have a chance to speak here. I could have a chance to talk to these people here. Because I suppose what I'd really love to say is, I don't want anyone here to think that they haven't got something very, very, very special to say that only they know. It's their unique perspective. And so I'd have to encourage everyone to be speaking that. Because if you don't get into the practice, if you wait until, maybe you're a great speaker, or maybe wait for this, wait for that, wait for the other, look, you'll just be waiting too long. So just speak your truth, speak your ideas, so that you can share them with other people. So there's so many different ways that you can actually live intentionally, but part of it is taking up the challenge of getting your ideas out there and speaking who you are.
Yes, of course. If you wish to, this is goes without saying. If you wish to say, and you have like this is perhaps we're going to the next subject slowly, to who is the enemy. Like if I have the urge, for example, I have the urge to spread the Decisions Navigator into the world, and then I have big plans for the next 10-15 years, you'll be totally surprised what is possible when somebody makes a conscious decision. And so I'm not comfortable speaking not in my language, and I'm quite afraid. And I've made only 2 public speaking events in my life. This is the second one, and the first one was in Hebrew. But I want to express myself. I want to meet new people. I want to dialogue with Dale. I want to be heard, and I want to have this is like a milestone in a big plan. So I won't let my enemies put me behind, and I think this is very important about what you do with the communication. Is it's connected with the idea that when living a conscious life, or the life of the true self, we want, basically, inherently, we want to live the potential of our life to the fullest. We don't want to have a male life, like a 60% life. Yes, that's fine. I'm enjoying restaurants and traveling the world. We cannot do that anymore, right? But I'm enjoying life. But this is for the 30% of life. But the rest I'm suffering, either at home with my family, or at work, or different areas. But no, to live the life of our true selves means live it to the full potential, like you do, and while and being able to express yourself better, like I'm expressing myself at a certain level right now. But through this experience, and of course I will work with you, of course, and you will help me, and I will explode, only because I am able to say, this is what my true self wants. I've made a decision. Boom, I'm going. I have the resilience to move forward. Nobody can stop me from within.
Yes, and I think that's that courage thing, and that we have to like build the fire in our belly, that to build and just have a go. But I think that, like, this is a great time to do it, because a lot of people are just going out and doing videos and putting them on their phone, and I think that people want it to be real, not to be professional and too polished. Yes. So I think it's the perfect time for people to be doing it and having a go.
Yes. So what do you think that is the main inhibiting factor? What is the enemy? Why is it so unique to be unique? Why is it so difficult to be unique, to be ourselves? I mean, yeah, from our experience, of course. Yes.
Yeah, look, I think that the fear thing and the nerves, I mean, as an actor, when I was an actor, I used to get so terrified. Like, I was just, I was so scared. And sometimes I used to think, gee, footballers throw up before a game. I'm not throwing up. Maybe I'm not that scared, but I was pretty scared. And then one day I realized that all my best work happened when I was really, really scared. And I thought, maybe that's not such a bad thing. And so, because being scared, being terrified before a thing with your heart pounding and all stuff, it's the same as being excited. That's the same physiological thing. So it's kind of like making friends with your fear. And I mean, there are techniques so that you can, for everything that you do, that you can, make it less scary and all stuff like that. But yeah, so I think that the fear, and also I think not fear necessarily of the performance, it's fear of letting go. I think when you actually become truly yourself, you have to let go of that fake one that, maybe did quite well for you. You might have done quite well in work. You might, people might respect you and all sorts of things. And you don't want to let that go because you're worried that they won't respect you as much, because you've created this very serious person that you think that, yes, that's why everyone likes you. That's why you're getting so much work. That's why it's working, but it's not because of that anyway. But I think it's fear of letting that go and losing status. I think that's part of it. That's really hard.
Yes, that's really interesting. For me, I thought that the enemy is within, are also connected with fear. But before that, I thought that being our true selves basically requires an effort for a long time. And not only the effort, just the ability to be aware and continue at the same pace. And being consistent is very hard. Of course, one can intentionally develop his or her ability to be consistent and to develop the will to do it. But that's one thing. The other thing is, I thought that from my experience, because I've went through extreme changes in the last 10 years, I'm not the same person. I mean, basically today I'm the same that I was before, but just I went through a total around. To come back to who I really am, but at those changes, during those changes, I've realized that I've changed the stimuli. I mean, everything in the world happens as a stimuli response phenomena, and when you are your full self, you are a certain stimuli, and the environment responds in a certain way, which means your friends, your family, co-workers, like you said. Nosh, can you please put Meirav on mute, because I cannot see anything. So basically, it requires changes. I mean, our stimuli is changing. Therefore, the response is changing, and we are afraid of what will happen. Because of that changes, and also, I think that in order to overcome this enemy, we need to be, and this, perhaps you can tell me what you think about it, but I think that the point that we can make a change and overcome the enemy is the point when we become restless and we become unsatisfied with our lives. And when this happens, we have the courage or the energy to do something. I hope it was clear, but
yes, absolutely, and that's what I think is happening now. We can't live our lives the way we could. Those things that were open to us aren't open to us, and yeah, I think it's just when we can't. I think it's when we can't stand not moving forward. That we just it's just like really like Groundhog Day, you know, the movie Groundhog Day,
yes,
where every day's
yes.
the same. It's just like, oh, good. Here I do, get up in the morning again, doing the same thing again. Oh, good. Oh, you know. So I think it's that it's like I think it can be like a volcano erupting in you, where you're kind of like it's like grumbling around, going, oh, I know there's more in me. I know I can do more. I know I can do more until I know I can do more. Let's get it happening now. I think sometimes happens like that.
Yes. So nice. The Groundhog Day, super movie. And I know I can do more. We all. This is what I talk is not like from the academy. It's not a book. It's from my own experience. And I remember the moment I was able to make a change and to go against. It's not against my fear, because you don't go against, but to go out of my comfort zone and do things. Was the moment that I said, okay, I've had it. I cannot live like that anymore, and I want to reach out. You know, I think something that we didn't say, that in order to reach our true selves and live from our true self, this is not a talent you are born with. I mean, you are born with your true self, but you are a baby, and this baby remains and gradually matures, but not so much, because then we have the false self that takes the masks and the roles that take charge. But basically, in order to nurture our true self and to help it, to help ourselves, to help me, Adi, to help you, Dale, live our lives, we need guidance. Sometimes we need tools. And we need to reach out to people, not necessarily. I mean, reach out for me, of course, and for Dale, but not necessarily. We're just two people around the world. There are many like us who you can feel. By the way, how can you tell a true professional from a false professional? It's exactly, you can be a professional from the false self, hence you are a false professional. But if you're a professional for your true self, like Dale and myself, you can sense the energy. Look at my eyes, look at the eyes of Dale, sense the energy. This energy is the energy of your own true self, and you can navigate there too. Dale, how just what's the time? I think oh, what I wanted to say just to complete the fourth phase before we move to how does it feel to live from your true self, which is
Yes.
amazing.
Yes.
But I wanted to say something positive about the fear from changes. Is that I used to fear that friends will leave me and things will be difficult. And like you said, that your status is changing, but basically what is happening because you're living your calling, because you're living your true self, then new people come to your life. I can say for sure that 10 years ago, 15 years ago, there is no chance you and I would have had any connections at all. I was totally blocked. I was like, I need to be a partner. I don't care about anything. I don't care about life. This strategy failed, of course, but I was not emotional, nothing. So this is good thing. Perhaps it's like a labor pains or something. Sometimes, not sometimes. Sometimes it's very. Some people are more true to themselves than others by definition. So perhaps the change will not be challenging. But even if the change is challenging, the end is good. There is a light in the end of the tunnel, as I've experienced. It's not cliches here.
Yes.
So,
yes. Also, I think is to look at where we find inspiration. And I think that we often think of famous people like, you know, Gandhi or Martin Luther King or Mother Teresa or these people. But I've been doing a series called the Inspire series, where I've been interviewing people from CEOs to engineering students and everything in between. And
yes.
only 3 of them said someone famous inspires them. Most people said it's like my mom or my dad or my
Yes.
sister. So
Same
it's
here.
the brilliance around us, these, you know, these beautiful, precious people who have been part of our lives, that they are actually the ones that inspire us. And also, like through your family, the traits that you have, some amazing traits that you have that you don't really recognize because you take them for granted, or support that you have that you don't really always acknowledge or look at. It's who inspires us in our lives is, I think, a really helpful thing.
Yes, you are so inspiring, and I wanted, first of all, your series of inspiring is on LinkedIn. Guys, check it out; it's phenomenal. Dale is able to get the true self out of people, so it will be like an inspiration by itself. This series, check her out. But I wanted, I forgot. No, okay, never mind. So how does it feel to live your life as your true self?
Well, for me, I think it's fantastic, and it's really only happened with COVID. I think where I decided to get on Facebook Live and try and inspire people, and I just was doing videos every day, and I was doing the Inspire series every day, and then I had to see myself, which was pretty horrifying in the beginning, but then I just learnt to live with it, and it's just so much more fun, and it's so less hard work, and life is just so much better, is how I'd say it.
Yes, and one can see that you are genuine. I remember what I wanted to say about the inspiration to complete, so I will not be formatory and go back. Me too. My main inspiration are my family members throughout. My father, my mom, and my brother and sister. But and my teachers, of course, my 4 teachers. But my main inspiration is life, is me. I'm my main inspiration in life. If I look back at those 10 years and I see what first that I reached out to help when I needed it. How many people reach out to help when they need it? It's so hard. I did it, and then I went through and then I'm here, and then I will be, and my life is amazing. It's hard, very hard. My life is very hard, but so why I want to say it, not to show off, but to say that you, Dale, you know it, but each and every person that is looking at me now and seeing and hearing my words, you are inspiration. You are the main inspiration of your own life, your true self. And we all go through a process from a false self to true self. This is evolution. But you are the inspiration. You are the main source of strength within your life. Don't forget that. So I just wanted to mention that. And for me, being my true self is amazing. First of all, from the standpoint of energy, this is wonderful. When you're the false self, the facade and everything, you're leaking energy. You're leaking. You go back. You come at night to bed. You're just exhausted. You cannot flourish within your emotional connection with people around you. You're just becoming. I mean, that's what happened to me. Everybody can tell about themselves. More and more of a routine robot. You don't have energy to love. You don't have energy to enjoy life. So this is number one. Number two, I had a client when I was a lawyer, a CFO for a huge company, and he told me that his father told him the inspiring thing, that when each morning go to the mirror, look at your own eyes and ask yourself, are you living your own life? And for me, I've been practicing it ever since. And I can tell you that even in the hardest periods of my life through my evolution, I could go to the mirror and tell, I can die today and I have lived my life to the fullest. Nobody wants to die. I don't want to die. But if I did, and this kind of things you cannot say if you live from your false self, because you're missing. You constantly feel that you're missing out of life. I see it from my clients. Adi, help me. I'm missing out of my life. Another thing is, when you're living from your true self, you have full life. You have a life of meaning, no emptiness anymore. That's by itself, Dale, is wonderful, isn't it? And maybe the two last points I thought about it is that first you get to serve something higher within yourself. You get to serve your true self, not in an egoistic way. Yes, my money, your money, borders, no, this is not relevant anymore. We're past that in the world. You get to hear the sweet voice of yourself, the sweet calling. What should I do today? Wow, should I call that? Wow, that is new. Let's do it. Yes, it's like a child. Life is hard. I'm not making it a cliche here, but at the very same time, you're able to just follow yourself and to serve it. Yes, it's okay to say you serve your higher self. That's number three. And number four, which is not possible otherwise, you can experience self-love. I love myself. In fact, I don't know any of you. I know Dave, but I love your true self as well, for sure. The false self, I'm not interested in. I'm sorry. I'm not interested in my own false self as well. It's not interesting, as they said in the beginning.
Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah. I love it. I love it. I think that's, I don't know, I think we've kind of nailed it. So I don't know, shall we do some questions? Let's do some questions.
I have a, Dale, I have a comment that Stephen Masick made, which was quite an interesting one. He says, actually, Stephen, would you like me to unmute you, or I can summarize it for you if that's all right. He said, I believe the purpose of life is to discover who you were born to be, and then drop all the pretense and internal external expectations so you can just be that. And the two most important days in life are the day you were born and the day you discover where, the day you were born and the day you discover why, which was quite interesting, I thought.
That is profound. That is very profound. And yeah, 100%. Like, just what's inside people is just so exciting. And I just hope that we're going to let loose. What would you say, Adi?
Yeah, yes. I said that, first of all, that's a brilliant question from the heart, and I love it. but it's important to know two things. First of all, each and every one of us has a calling. Perhaps this calling is not clear at the first years. Like for myself, I was a lawyer. It was not my calling. I have friends which is their calling. It's not about the external world. It's about the connection from the internal world. So that's one thing that's a calling. But the main important thing, the most important thing you will ever hear is that this is a process. And this is very important because people who are not relating to it as process fail and get frustrated just because they didn't do the correct thing. The process to fulfill your calling and to become your true self and to drop all inhibiting factors or pretentious or expectations. I'm sorry, I didn't remember the word, but let's say that the inhibiting factors, think our gates, our fences, and just leave yourself in a green field of light or green field of flowers. It's not green anyway. It's a process. It's a process, and you need to have the correct tools to work with it. You cannot just say, yes, I don't care what people expect me. It is not true self. This is not true self. True self does not buffer the emotion of being rejected, the emotion of being judged, but it has the tools to work with it. And this is the process. And this is the process. And I say again, this is not a selling pitch. There are many of us who can guide. But I have 4 teachers over 10 years. It's a process of how to, on the one hand, nurture your true self and your, which will allow your calling to get fulfilled. But on the other hand, how to correctly deal with all the fears, with all the expectation, with all the inhibiting factors. So I agree with the sentence, and you're totally correct. But just remember, please, that it's a process, and you need to get through it with guidance, probably.
Adi, just on that note, it's perfect what you said, because Tali did mention that life is a process. Everything in our life is a process. There is no instant, which is fantastic, Tali.
Yes.
And also, whilst you were talking, I also put in the chat. This chat keeps scrolling. I'm sorry. How are you living your life? And Tali was one who said full and happy life, which is great. I also had Jacob tell me that he, bear with me 1 second. There's so much of chat to go through, so bear with me.
Can I just add something while you look for that?
Sure.
Okay,
sure.
so Stephen Masick said, does faith influence this approach? Does belief in transcendent power give you the strength and courage to persevere? I think 100%. It is the key thing in my life, no question. It is my guiding light, my Christianity, my faith in Christ is who I am. It's who I truly am and who I hope to follow in everything. So 100%. What would you say, Adi?
I didn't understand the question. Is a religious a powerful tool? What
does faith influence this approach? Does belief in a transcendent power give you the strength and courage to persevere?
Yes, not only the strength, you need to be connected with, it's not about faith. Faith, I mean, it's not about blind faith. It's about hard proof that we are connected. I am connected with something that I cannot see for sure. You are connected as well. I mean, if you look at your life, you can check all those small instances that you cannot discard as a fluke. Wow, what happened? But am I guided? Yes. Listen to me, look at my eyes. You all are guided. And the true self is full with happiness that he heard this at this moment. You're all guided. We are all guided. For sure, I am guided. And the ability to understand the connection with your close guide is something that you rely on and you trust. If you cannot trust him, you cannot trust yourself for sure. Anything in yourself for sure. You need to trust something which is objective, which is higher. So yes, for you is Christ. I'm not identified with my religion, but I'm Jewish. We have different sets of. I'm not religious. But I am religious in the sense that there are transcendent, transcendent powers or whatever, or entities.
Yeah.
We are not alone, for sure. We are not, whoever thinks we are alone is in La La Land, totally. So yes, the answer is yes. The short answer is yes. Okay.
Adi, I found a comment that Jacob made. He said, "You are the best, 100%." I'll move on to the next question, which is quite a beautiful one, actually. Sapir asks, "How can one fight its false self?"
Yes. Dale, you want to start or?
You can.
Yes. So basically, one does not fight its false self. Simple as that. When you're going into a dark room, what do? You light the room. You look for the light, and then you light the room. And then if it's on dimmer, I don't know if dimmer is international word, but you can raise. Okay, so if it's a dimmer, you slowly learn how to raise it until you're full light, like myself, like Dale at this moment. And when there is light, I mean, this is a kind of on the border of a cliche, but it's true. When you are yourself, your true self. Let's start the beginning. When you're your true self, this is truth. You cannot shake truth. But false self is false. Therefore, the more you are your true self, and again, you need to be guided, you need to study wherever you want, but to become more you, then the false self just falls off, or it shows itself to be let's call a spade a spade. It shows itself to be false. It cannot stand. False cannot stand with darkness. Cannot stand with light. The question is how do we? So the practical question is not how you fight the false self. Of course, you need to know how to guard yourself and to develop the internal tools. But moreover, how do you nurture? Like Dale said at the beginning, how do you nurture your true self? How do you recognize your true self? How do you become more of who you are? And then suddenly, you discover that, for example, like me, I don't like to go to bars. Why did I go to bars? It's not for me. Or I don't like to go to the discotheque, I mean, years ago, to discotheque at 12 at night just to start my night. No, I like to sleep at night. And then, what is friend? Why are we connected, etc. But to sum it up, don't be concerned with fighting your false self or your fears. Don't go, just be concerned with nurturing who you are. What do you love to do? This is such a hard question. So do more of it and make the environment that enables you to become who you are. Take care of that.
Yes, I think it's being intentional. So I think that's where your words are, the words that you use, intentional with the words, intentional with what's going into you. Like if you're listening to lots of news, that's not always a good thing. Are you listening to people who are enriching your mind and enriching you in culturally and with different experiences, and who are you reaching out to? So I think it's just really intentional, and so being aware and also being aware of, okay, I've got this habit. Is this habit good? I don't know about that habit. I might try something different. There's people who get up at 5:30 every morning or 4:30 every morning as a new habit to change something about them. So you can change something about your habit, change something about your belief, change something about your behavior, change something about who you're listening to or who you're talking to or what you're saying. All these things is once you start changing a little bit, that's when who you are comes out more, I think.
Yes, and to complement, to add something to complete, from my point of view, is that please, there is no enemy outside. Nobody is to blame. There is talk about toxic people. This is not the way of love. Talk about toxic people. So just go into yourself, find your true self, nurture it, and then you are the science is that you are changing yourself as a stimuli, and then the response will be different. People will naturally go away, and you will have wonderful people in your life, guaranteed.
Dale and Adi,
another?
Thank you. That's fantastic. I just wanted to say, Anat and Ilan say great dialogue. Thank you, and very inspiring, very interesting. I have two more questions, and I'm conscious of time. One is from Shir Manes. I hope I've pronounced your name correctly. Shir says, I have a question that bothers me each and every day. we're talking here about our calling and doing something that makes us happy and 100% fulfilled. But usually we will have to give up financial security. Usually our big dreams at first, at least, require us to live with that feeling that we could fail and lose everything. How do you put these fears aside?
Dale?
Well, what I would say is you can do it gradually. I mean, I wouldn't suggest any time that people just like quit their job and go and do something else. But I think that you can do a gradual transition. Is keep that job and then study on the side something and build it up until you can transfer over. Is what I would say.
Yes, and I will completely say that the main thing that prevents people from reaching out or reaching into their true selves, basically, is the binary way of black and white way of thinking. If I'm my true self, then I'm poor. If I'm not my true self, then I'm a rich and successful. Bullshit, BS. Okay, I don't know. Bullshit. Sorry. I'm successful. I'll be very successful. I have huge plans. Dale is successful. We are living our lives. But this is number one. Number two, a conscious decision of a change toward our true self is a gradual decision, and it is always in harmony with our internal needs. It's not possible to have a conscious decision, a gold standard conscious decision that creates a disharmony in our lives. For example, for myself, I went through 10 years of study. I took a freelance law job here and there, but I also went bartending for 3 years in a chef restaurant, Sushi Samba, if you've heard about it. So I was not really affluent at that time, but I was serving myself and I was happy at some times, and I was serving my aims. So it was harmonious. So is changing your life toward your true self can be hard? Yes, but living your false self is hard as well. Of course, and then you need to be conscious, then you need to be responsible. If you have responsibilities, you have family, etc., you are not going to Tibet to meditate for 2 years because you think it's your true self. It's not my true self. I don't want to go to Tibet. I want to live in society and make lots of money and be successful. Yes, it's my true self once, yes. So what I want to say, don't be afraid to listen to the true voice of your true self, but be sure it's your true voice of your true self. He, she, whatever will guide you in a harmonious way for sure. And if you're not able to go to a harmonious way, get help professionally.
That's fantastic, Adi. That's absolutely fantastic. I had one last question, and from Orna, which says, Orna says, I will be the devil. What about income at the time of change? I feel we've kind of covered that already. But Orna, if we haven't, send me a quick message in the chat. But I wanted to also acknowledge Grant Palmer, who's contributed a lot on chat, which is fantastic. And a couple of things that he said, but this one sticks up. Nothing good is easy. True self-examination shines light on both good and bad in your own self. Removing a facade makes us vulnerable. Stepping out in faith makes it much easier to fall. And that is fantastic, personally to me. But Grant, thank you for being such a valuable contributor, besides our panelists as well. I'm not sure, Dale and Adi, if you've actually gone through the chat, but Grant was very informative and interesting comments as well. Fabulous.
I just want in 1 minute, I'm also conscious of time, just 1 minute to say, Grant, thank you for all the comments. Just saw it, I was not able to multitask. But I want to share a story about what you said, is that through the conscious intentional, like there's a process of evolution from your false self to your true self, like you go through a phase and you need to know how to do it. I remember that there is a boulevard near my house, and I remember clearly that they are planting trees occasionally. And when they're planting the trees is very small, like small and vulnerable. This is our true self at the beginning, the baby self. But then when you are progressing, and this answers Orna and Shir and everybody, when you progress and you have the tools, then as they do, you put a small fence around, a small fence of practical tool on this delicate flower or plant. And then they remove the plant later on when the tree is strong enough to protect itself. It's the same with our internal world. First of all, our true self comes forth, then we need to protect it with tools. But then the true self becomes so shiny, and so you can see me, you can see Dale, and then we don't necessarily need the tool as much. Of course, we need the tools. If somebody was negative toward me in the chat, it would hurt me, and I would need to work with it. But this is it's not a black and white, instantaneously a medicine. It's a transition through time process and with practical tools and guidance. Dale, you want to summarize? I don't know. Are we done?
Well, no, I was just reading all these wonderful things that people have been saying. So I was a bit caught up with that.
Dale, do you mind if I say something very quickly, if that's okay?
Go ahead.
Adi, this is to you actually. So I moderate and facilitate quite a few events. And if this is your second event, I'm not flattering you, but you are fantastic. Like, honestly, I need to tell you this. Like, I can tell you this later as well, but I need to acknowledge that fact that if this is your very second public appearance, as you've said earlier,
yes.
Fabulous, like fabulous.
So first of all, thank you. But my thanks is to Dale. I didn't talk about it in the beginning because I didn't want to be a bad student. But Dale has trained me. We had 4 sessions, and she told me, and she managed to guide me through how to present, how to correctly present oneself, and how to speak. And my English is not native, so thank you, and thank you, Dale. You're awesome.
Well, thank you, Adi. I think that what I think so amazing is that you've taken this topic to a very deep level. I think it's a topic that is talked about, and there's aspects that we've talked about this evening or this morning in Israel, where things are talked about in quite a superficial way and a quick fix way, and you know, think positively and do this, and it's all quite superficial. But I think that you've taken it to a really deep level. And I think it's just really, for me, it's really helped me understand the deep transformation that needs to happen, and what that is, and but how incredibly worthwhile.
Yes, and possible, and possible. It's possible.
And so possible it is to do that. I've found it very inspiring. So I'd like to thank you. I'd like to thank Nosh for being an amazing facilitator and joining us this evening.
Yes.
And I'd just like to thank everyone so much for coming and being part of something which is across the world. You know, people who haven't met before from different countries coming together is just so exciting for me. And is there anything you'd like to say, Adi?
Yes, I wanted to conclude by saying, talking about, I think it was Grant's comment. He said that there are 2 the happiest points in life. You talk about the day you are born and the day you discover your calling, but there is a 3rd one, and this is the day you realize that you need help, and that you reach out, and that you meet your teacher or whoever your guide, and you are strong enough, and you are so happy and about the fact that you are so courageous. We are all courageous. You, dear audience, you are so courageous. You don't even know that, but things are possible now for all of us. Thank you, Dale. Thank you, Nosh. You're a fascinating dude, guy, and a brilliant facilitator. I wasn't aware things like that happen, are available. So professional. So it was a pleasure for me. And we are going to spread out the link to this video to whoever wants.
Yes.
To the recording.
Yep.
And also, at least on my part, if you have a short question, you can message me on LinkedIn, and I will try to, you know, within the framework of a couple of lines, answer back. Thank you so much, you all.